Look, you ready to talk about sex? All right, first, turn the volume down. If you're sitting around a loved one that is not super open-minded, or if you're sitting in a cubicle in some public workspace, this is gonna get you in trouble. However, with whoever you happen to be having sex with, this is gonna do opposite of that. This is gonna get you out of trouble, maybe into some of that bad trouble, like Michael Jackson bad in the 80s. Check it out. So first, the sexual response cycle of men and women are very different. And this is something that a lot of fellas just really don't have any idea about. And as a marriage and family therapist, I work with relationships all the time, every day, well, at least most days, and a healthy sex life comes up all the time. This is the #1 mistake that men tend to make in trying to have a satisfying sex life with women. First is that, so as far as the sexual response cycle of men, we go through a very predictable phase of what happens with our penis when we're having sex, kind of like leading up to the ejaculation or orgasm, the big shebang, if you will, right? So there's this tension building phase kind of going up, and then it hits a plateau, right, at the top, and then there's another tension building phase, then at the top, there's ejaculation, right here, and then there's this refractory stage. Right, some of us it's like blah, 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 blah. Straight down. Like, there's the stereotypical place where a lot of men fall asleep or whatever. As we're younger, this refractory stage takes longer, and we can build back up faster into another plateau. That's something that a lot of men forget when we get older. I had a client one time who was getting really up in his head about sexual encounters. He was like, man, I'm not gonna satisfy my sexual partner because I have an orgasm way too quickly. It's like, dude, what happens when you go again? I'm like, go again? I'm just really in my head. Like, I'm not going again. They're like, go again, man, see what happens. Generally, if you have an orgasm really quickly and you start again, as most men can, as long as you don't get swept up in this refractory period and pass out, right? It'll get going again, and that plateau is usually longer than the first one, right? It is usually gonna be a longer period of time of having sexual engagement in that second go-round, which is a lot of fun. I was like, hey man, you're two-time Johnny. Like, fuck, one time, whatever you were in your head about, like, go have fun with that. Some people don't get access to that at all. Now, this is very different than the sexual response cycle of women. And this is a huge mistake that men tend to make, because a lot of times men, like, we're taught to be really goal-directed and goal-driven, right? And when it comes to sex, a lot of times men are gonna attack vagina or the clitoris with the same kind of like focus and intent that they would thinking about penis, right? And like how they get off, which is, I mean, like, I get it. I've been a teenage boy before, right? Like, I understand. However, it is very different what women experience. You ladies, you're gonna appreciate this, I'm sure. Is, it starts off smaller, and it builds, and it builds, and at the peak, you reach this like really intense phase of tension. You can have multiple orgasms. There's this no like, refractory period where you just drop off. It stays really intense, and all kinds of fun stuff can happen when you stay right there, guys. Like, don't get, just because you're done doesn't mean they are. And if you want to be around there for the long run and having a lot more fun in this space, hang out here. Oh, and #1 piece of feedback, when you're not being goal directed, as you shouldn't be in this phase, is go with the breath, bro. Stop getting all like focused on a rhythm and go with the breath, her breath. Stay here, have some fun. You'll thank me later. However, a common mistake that guys make is, we peter out and we just go, we're done, and don't transition to something else. And then women are like left in this phase of being like, oh my gosh, like men will, the case example, the old stereotypical thing, men will like roll over and go to sleep, and women are just like, I'm not ready to go to sleep. Stereotypically, sometimes things are different. If you had a long day, you're ready to crash out. But I hope this was helpful for you. I know a lot of times clients I've worked with have found a lot of this information really helpful, just for some basics and how you can make sure that you get the most out of your sex life to get everything going in balance and make sure it's as fun as it needs to be. Y'all stay up out there.